So Arizona is, we are bound by the open meeting law for all our public bodies. And so what does that mean? The sunshine should give you a clue. What that means is the state legislature has determined that the public's business must be public, must be done in public. It can only be done in private in very limited circumstances, executive sessions, and we'll go into detail about those here in a few minutes. But basically what our legislature is deemed for public bodies, other than the legislature, but that's a different story, is that when this council, when you as a board meet, a quorum of you meet, then the public has a right to come and watch you make your decisions, go through the decision-making process. So what that means is if there's a quorum of the board present, you have a meeting going on, whether you intended to or not. So if you have 4 council members who are talking about town business, this is where it needs to occur. If 4 of you are together talking about town business, and that goes for you all as board members too, you need to be in an official meeting. But what is actually a meeting? And that is important because if you have a quorum of you, we need to have it occurring at a meeting. So first, what that means is the public has notice that you're meeting, and it occurs anytime a quorum of you get together to discuss business. And I always like to point out, and we'll see it later, public means that we're all together, or we're all together via some form of electronic device, whether it's Skype or conference call or whatever. People can attend electronically. So let's talk about some of the pitfalls and some of the things we see boards and councils get in trouble with. And one of them is serial meetings. And I'm going to spend quite a bit of time on emails because, quite frankly, that's where we're seeing the Attorney General complaints, the open meeting law complaints. A lot of it's occurring through email. So we want to keep you out of the Attorney General's purview. So what is a serial meeting? Well, if you have less than a quorum present, but you may talk to 1 or 2 people on your board, or Mary may call the vice mayor and the mayor and say, hey, I've got a great idea, as she did one time. I think we should recognize the youth in our community. I only have one great idea? Oh. I didn't mean that the way it sounded. I apologize. But she did have this great idea that I'm going to give her kudos for, to recognize the youth in our community. So if she were to call 2 of her fellow council members and say, I got this great idea, what do you think? Do we have an open meeting law violation? This is the public participation part. No. No. You only have 3. But what happens when the mayor picks up the phone and says, oh my goodness, Councilmember Zinkin, Mary just had the greatest idea. I think we need to support it. Do we have a problem then? Yes, because now you have a quorum. And you've just gone through the process that our legislature said needs to occur in our fully agendized public meetings. So that's where serial meetings can get us in trouble. So you have to be careful when you start those chain discussions. And guess what happens with emails? Simple little emails to propose an idea. Could be the best idea yet. Could be even better than the youth recognition. I don't know how, but it could be. But okay, you made it. So in that case, those emails start getting forwarded and forwarded, or somebody starts replying all. Guess what? What started out as a simple email between 2 or 3 council or board members, totally harmless, no open meeting law violation, now has been forwarded around to the point where we have more than a quorum reading that same email that's talking about business that needs to be talked about in a public meeting. So if you don't take anything away from today, the one piece of advice I'm going to give you with email, never, ever, 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 ever hit reply all if you have an email about your board or council. The best thing to do with those ideas is send it to your chair, your mayor, your staff liaison, town clerk, and say, please, let's get this on the agenda. And then you can talk about it at the meeting, and there's no problem.
My instruction, using one of my favorite phrases that I use all the time, which is out of an abundance of caution, I think it'd be best if it came from the town manager.